For 20 years, Nathan lived without a single touch. No hugs, no handshakes, no love, until a maid broke the rule and touched him during a storm. That moment changed everything. Once upon a time, in a quiet, wealthy town filled with tall gates and silent mansions, there lived a man everyone feared, respected, and whispered about. His name was Nathan Briggs. People called him the Untouchable Billionaire. Because for 20 years, no one, not family, not friends, not lovers, had been able to touch him. Not a hug, not a handshake, not even a simple brush of fingers. But few people knew why he lived like that. They only knew the surface. A rich man who hated touch. But the truth was much darker. Nathan was not born broken. He was born bright, kind, and full of laughter. When he was a little boy, he loved running barefoot in the house. He loved hugging people. He loved climbing on his father's lap while listening to stories. But everything changed the year his mother died. His father remarried a woman named Vanessa. A beautiful woman with cold eyes. She pretended to care in front of Nathan's father. But the moment he traveled, which was almost every week, she dropped the act. Vanessa hated Nathan. She hated his questions. She hated his laughter. She hated his innocence. Most of all, she hated the fact that his father loved him more than he loved her. Vanessa made house rules that only applied to Nathan. He must never enter the living room. He must never play with toys. He must never make noise. He must never touch her. But Nathan was a child. Sometimes he forgot. And each time he forgot, Vanessa punished him. She pulled him by the ears. She slapped him with cold hands. She locked him in dark closets for hours. On the night that destroyed him, she dragged him into the basement during a thunderstorm because he accidentally spilled juice on the table. Lightning flashed. Thunder roared. Rain slammed against the house. Nathan cried, begging to be let out. Instead, Vanessa whispered through the door, "Don't you ever touch me again." Hours passed. Nathan cried until he had no voice left. By the time his father came home the next morning, Nathan was sitting in a corner, shaking, unable to speak, unable to stand. His father threw Vanessa out immediately, but the damage was deep. Too deep. After that night, Nathan could not bear people touching him. Even a light touch made his chest tighten and his vision blur. Doctors tried, therapists tried, specialists tried, but every time someone reached out, Nathan recoiled like he had touched fire. He learned to live without touch. He learned to guard his space. He learned to hide behind power and money. But inside, Nathan was still that 7-year-old boy locked in the basement. Years passed. Nathan grew into a tall, handsome man with sharp eyes, expensive suits, and a quiet walk that intimidated people before he even spoke. He built a business empire. He bought houses around the world. He flew private jets. He owned everything money could buy. Except peace. Except trust. Except comfort. His home was full of workers. But he still felt alone. No hugs. No warmth. No closeness. Just silence and wealth. Far away from Nathan's world of wealth lived Tina Adams, a gentle young woman with the softest heart. She did not grow up rich. She grew up carrying water on her head, helping her mother sell food by the roadside, and taking care of her younger brothers. Life had never been fair to Tina. Her father lost his job when she was 13, and since then, her family struggled. She worked different jobs, cleaning houses, washing clothes, cooking for neighbors, just to help her parents. But despite her hard life, Tina was peaceful, calm, and gentle. She spoke softly and moved carefully, as if she never wanted to disturb anyone. People always said she had a soul that felt like early morning sunshine. When her mother fell sick and hospital bills became too much, Tina knew she needed a better job, one that paid well. So when she heard that the mysterious billionaire Nathan Briggs was searching for a live-in maid, she applied. Everyone told her she would not get the job. Nathan hates people. He doesn't even let staff walk near him, they warned. But Tina had no choice. She needed the money. The day she entered Nathan's mansion, her heart almost stopped. The mansion was breathtaking. The house manager gave strict rules. No touching the boss. No standing close to him. No direct eye contact. If he enters a room, step aside. Always keep 3 steps distance. Tina nodded. She was used to rules. Her whole life had rules. Nathan walked into the dining room like a shadow, tall, quiet, eyes sharp but tired. Tina immediately stepped back, lowering her gaze. Nathan's eyes flicked to her. Something strange happened. For the first time in years, Nathan did not feel annoyed by someone being in his space. Her presence felt quiet, soft, safe. Is she the new maid? Nathan asked calmly. Yes, sir, the manager replied. Nathan stared at Tina for another second. Then he whispered something no one expected. Keep her. Tina looked up quietly. She had no idea her life had just changed. As days turned into weeks, Tina worked quietly around the mansion. She cleaned Nathan's office, arranged his books, served his meals by placing the tray down and stepping back quickly. One evening, while Tina was cleaning the garden area, Nathan stood behind the glass window watching her. She hummed softly while she worked, a gentle tune she always sang when she was nervous. Nathan felt his chest relax. No panic, no fear, just peace. It surprised him. He had not felt peace around another human being in 20 years. Meanwhile, Nathan's fiancée, Clara Wilson, was born into wealth. She loved fashion, luxury, and attention. To her, Nathan was not just a partner, he was a trophy. Clara didn't care about Nathan's trauma, she cared about being Mrs. Briggs. She loved fancy parties, designer clothes, showing off, posting their relationship online. But she hated one thing, Nathan's walls. She couldn't touch him, she couldn't hug him, she couldn't even hold his hand in public. One day she visited and saw how Nathan observed Tina quietly. Something dark entered her mind. Why is this maid always in your space? She asked sharply. Nathan simply replied, because she's calm. Clara did not like that answer, because Nathan never spoke gently about anyone, not family, not friends, not even her. Nathan Briggs had lived with fear in his chest for years, silent fear, the kind that never spoke, but always controlled. Yet somehow, Tina's presence began to calm the noise inside him. He didn't understand it, he didn't question it, he simply felt safe. But the night that changed everything came during a terrible storm. Lightning cracked across the sky, thunder shook the mansion walls, rain slammed against the windows like angry fists. Nathan hated storms. They reminded him of the basement, of Vanessa, of crying alone with no one to protect him. That night, memories hit him harder than ever. He woke up gasping for breath. Sweat soaked his shirt. His hands shook violently. He didn't know where to go. He just ran out of his room, hoping to escape the memories chasing him. Tina had just finished saying her night prayers when she heard footsteps in the dark hallway. She opened her door softly and saw Nathan crouched on the floor, trembling like a terrified child. Her heart broke instantly. She forgot every rule. She forgot every warning. She rushed to him. Sir. Nathan, please look at me. Breathe. You're safe. He didn't hear her at first. His mind was trapped in the past. Then without thinking, Tina touched his shoulders. Nathan froze. Tina gasped, realizing what she had done. I'm sorry, sir. But before she could pull away, Nathan leaned into her touch. His shaking slowed, his breath steadied, and for the first time in 20 years, he allowed someone to hold him. Not a doctor, not a therapist, not even Clara. Tina, just Tina. He collapsed into her arms, crying silently, not the cry of a grown man, but of a wounded boy who had carried pain alone for too long. Tina held him tighter. It's okay. You're safe. I'm here. Nathan didn't understand how, but her touch didn't burn. It didn't suffocate him. It didn't bring panic. It brought peace. They stayed like that until the storm calmed. When Nathan finally stood up, his eyes were red, but clearer than they had been in years. He looked at Tina. You stayed, he whispered. Yes, sir. You touched me. I'm sorry. No, he said softly. Thank you. Those two words meant more than anything Tina had ever heard. The next morning, the whole mansion felt different. Nathan woke up slowly, his eyes swollen from the tears he cried the night before. For a moment he wondered if he had dreamed the whole thing. But then he remembered Tina's hands, her warm touch, her calm voice whispering, "You're safe with me." He sat up in bed, breathing quietly. He had not been touched in 20 years. Yet when Tina touched him, his body did not reject her. Instead, it melted. It relaxed. It trusted. It scared him. But it also comforted him. Downstairs, Tina moved around the house softly, sweeping the hallway. She kept replaying the night in her mind. She knew she had broken the rule. She knew she had touched a man no one was supposed to touch. She was afraid he would fire her, or shout at her, or even refuse to look at her again. But she did not regret helping him. She remembered how helpless he looked, shaking like a little boy trapped in his past. She could never have walked away. When Nathan stepped out of his room, his steps were slower, more thoughtful. He found Tina in the kitchen area washing fruits for breakfast. She froze when she saw him. The bowl almost slipped from her hands. Nathan looked at her for a long moment. Then he said quietly, "Thank you." Tina blinked. "Sir, for last night," he whispered. "Thank you for staying." Tina lowered her head. "I'm sorry I touched you, sir. I know I shouldn't have." Nathan stepped closer. Not too close, but closer than he had ever come to her before. "You helped me," he said, "and I didn't panic." Tina heard the surprise in his voice, like he still didn't understand how it happened. "Sir, I'm just glad you're okay," she answered softly. Something warm spread in Nathan's chest. He wasn't used to sincerity. He wasn't used to kindness without a price attached. Clara, Nathan's fiancée, came to the mansion that same evening. She tried to hug Nathan, but he moved back instantly, as always, and she pretended to be offended. "You still don't like touching me?" she sighed dramatically. "Sometimes I wonder if you even love me." Nathan didn't answer. He never answered those kinds of comments. Clara turned her head and saw Tina carrying a tray toward the dining room. Her eyes narrowed. She had noticed how Tina walked around Nathan's space with a kind of natural ease that none of the other staff had. When Nathan needed something, he didn't call the butler. He called Tina. When he had a bad day, he didn't sit alone in his room. He sat in the living room when he knew Tina was nearby. Clara's heart burned with jealousy. "What is she still doing here?" Clara asked. Nathan replied calmly, "She works here." "I don't like the way she moves around you," Clara snapped. Nathan gave her a long look. "Why do you have a problem with how she moves?" Clara froze. Nathan had never defended anyone before, let alone a maid. She looked at Tina and smiled, but inside, she was already planning something dark. Over the next weeks, something beautiful and unexpected grew between Nathan and Tina. It was slow, it was soft, it was unspoken. Nathan started sitting in the areas he can see Tina, pretending to read, but secretly watching her gentle movements. Tina started leaving small notes of encouragement on his desk. "Drink water today, sir. Remember to rest. You're stronger than you think." Nathan kept every note in a drawer. When he felt overwhelmed, he quietly went to the kitchen where Tina usually worked. He never told her he came for her. He just sat there, listening to her calm humming. For the first time in 20 years, he was not alone. Clara started visiting the mansion without warning. She watched Nathan closely. She watched Tina even closer. She noticed the way Nathan stood nearer to Tina than anyone else, the way his voice softened around her, the way Tina didn't make him tense up, the peaceful look on his face when she was in the same room. Clara felt her place slipping away. She decided she would not lose to a maid, not to a girl with simple clothes and quiet eyes. One evening, Clara cornered Tina in the hallway. "You think I don't see what you're doing?" Clara whispered sharply. Tina stepped back, confused. "Ma, I don't understand." Clara moved closer, eyes filled with poison. "You think you can seduce him with your fake innocence? You think you're special because he lets you stand near him? Let me warn you. Nathan is mine." Tina shook her head quickly. "No, Ma, I would never." "Shut up," Clara snapped. "You poor girls are all the same. You see money and you suddenly forget your place." Tina felt tears rise, but she held them back. Clara smirked and walked away. Clara's jealousy became obsession. She had always seen herself as the perfect woman for Nathan, beautiful, rich, confident, and socially powerful. She believed Nathan should worship the ground she walked on. But now, Nathan barely looked at her. His eyes followed Tina instead. His voice softened around Tina. His panic attacks stopped when Tina was nearby. Clara felt something she had never felt before: insecurity, fear, loss of control. "Nathan is slipping away," Clara whispered to herself in her room. She stared at her reflection. Flawless makeup, expensive dress, yet none of it mattered. A maid was taking the one thing she valued most: attention. Clara decided she needed to act fast, And her plan had to be powerful, painful. A plan that would make Nathan hate Tina completely. Clara knew 3 things. Nathan hated betrayal, dishonesty, and was extremely sensitive about his personal space, office, and money. If she could make it look like Tina betrayed him, if she could make it look like Tina tried to steal from him, Nathan would fire her instantly, and he would never look at her again. Clara smiled sweetly to herself. Let's see if the little maid can survive this. Clara waited until Nathan went to the company for a meeting. She walked confidently to his private office. She knew the code to the safe. Nathan once trusted her with it. Clara opened the safe and took a thick bundle of crisp notes. Enough money to cause panic. Enough money to make the lie believable. She whispered, Tina, you finished. Then Clara sneaked into the staff quarters. She waited until everyone went out to do morning chores. Then she entered Tina's room. It was small, neat, and simple. Folded clothes, a tiny mirror, a small prayer notebook. The simplicity annoyed Clara even more. How can someone so small ruin my life? She hissed. Clara opened Tina's bag and pushed the money deep inside. She stood back and admired her handiwork. Perfect, she said. When she finished planting the money, she went to the kitchen where Tina was washing fruits. Tina smiled politely. Good morning, Ma. Clara returned the smile brightly, too brightly. Tina dear, can you go to Nathan's office after this? He left a file behind and I think he wants you to help him arrange his books. Tina nodded. Yes, Ma. Clara smiled again. Perfect. Nathan would walk in, see Tina in his office, and everything would fall into place. Nathan returned from a business meeting earlier than expected. As he walked toward his office, Clara pretended to be shocked. Oh Nathan, I didn't know you were back. What's wrong? He asked. Clara looked nervous, pretending to be comforting herself. I saw Tina rushing into your office earlier. She looked strange. Nathan frowned. Strange how? She looked scared and guilty. I didn't want to say anything, but please check your safe. That was enough to trigger Nathan. His trust was still fragile. He didn't think Tina would steal, but his trauma made him doubt himself sometimes. He walked into his office and stopped. Tina was there, arranging books just like Clara told her. She turned around and smiled softly. Sir, good afternoon. I was told. Nathan went straight to the safe. It was open. His heart dropped. He checked inside. The money was gone. Tina's face slowly filled with confusion. Sir, is something wrong? Nathan looked at her with a mixture of hurt and shock. He didn't shout. He didn't accuse. He simply asked, Tina, did you touch my safe? Tina's eyes filled with tears instantly. No, sir. Never. Clara rushed forward dramatically. Nathan, check her bag. I knew she was acting strange. She must have hidden the money. Tina backed away, shaking her head. No, no, no. I didn't take anything. The guards came in. Clara ordered, check her room. Nathan closed his eyes, feeling something tearing inside him. He didn't want to believe Tina could do this. He followed them to Tina's small room. The guards opened Tina's bag, and there it was, bundles of money. Tina fell to her knees. She couldn't breathe. No, no. I swear I didn't take it. Please, this is not mine. Nathan swallowed hard. His voice broke. Tina. Why? She cried so hard she could barely speak. Sir, please believe me. I've never stolen in my life. I don't know how it got there. Clara smirked quietly where Nathan couldn't see. Nathan felt pain in his chest. He wanted to touch Tina, hold her, tell her he believed her. But doubt had already entered his mind. Sir, please. Tina whispered. Nathan turned away. Pack your things, he said softly. You cannot stay here anymore. Tina's heart shattered. She cried silently as 2 female guards helped her gather her belongings. She looked at Nathan one last time, hoping he would change his mind. He didn't lift his head. That night was the worst night of Nathan's life in years. He couldn't eat. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't breathe. He sat on the edge of his bed whispering. She said she didn't take it. Why didn't I believe her? Why did she look so hurt? His chest tightened again. He remembered how she held him during the storm. How she touched him when no one else could. How his body trusted her. Tina had never lied, never complained, never asked for anything. Nathan couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, very wrong. By morning, he snapped. He rushed to the security room. bring me all the footage from yesterday. Every hallway, every angle. The guards scrambled. No one had ever seen Nathan desperate like this. Nathan watched the footage intensely. At first, nothing. Then, there she was, Clara, sneaking into his office, opening his safe, taking money, walking into Tina's room. Nathan stood up slowly. His hands curled into fists, his jaw tightened, his eyes turned ice cold. A different Nathan was awake now, a Nathan who had been quiet for too long. He whispered, "Clara, you destroyed the wrong woman." He walked out, not in fear, in fury. Nathan left the mansion with a speed no one had ever seen. His heart was racing, not with panic, but with something stronger: guilt, regret, and fear that he might lose Tina forever. He had allowed someone he trusted, Clara, to destroy the only person who had ever made him feel human again. The city looked colder as he drove. The streets felt empty. Nathan had never realized how peaceful his life became when Tina was near. Until she was gone. He went from place to place, the bus station, the small market, the street near her old house, searching for her like a man chasing air. Finally, he found her near an old bus stop, sitting on a wooden bench with her small bag beside her knees. Her shoulders were hunched, her eyes were swollen, her clothes were wrinkled from crying all night. Nathan's heart broke at the sight. He stepped out of the car and walked toward her slowly, carefully, like he was approaching something sacred. "Tina!" She lifted her head, her breath caught. She stood up quickly, wiping her tears. "Sir Nathan, what are you doing here?" Nathan swallowed. He wanted to touch her face, wipe her tears, beg her to come back, but he took a small step at a time. "Tina, I made a mistake," he whispered. She looked away. "Sir, it's okay. I understand." "No," Nathan said firmly. "I didn't believe you. I didn't even give you a chance to explain. I let my fear decide for me." His voice cracked softly. "And it cost me the only person who ever made me feel calm." Tina's eyes filled again. "Sir, I didn't steal anything. I swear on my life." "I know," Nathan said quickly. "I know now." Tina froze. Nathan breathed deeply and said the words she never expected. "I saw the CCTV footage. It was Clara. She put the money in your bag." Tina's lips trembled. She covered her mouth with her hand. Nathan's eyes softened. He stepped forward slowly, gently. "Tina, I'm sorry," he whispered. "Please forgive me." She wiped her tears. You came all the way here for me." "Yes," Nathan said. "I couldn't breathe without you." Tina looked shocked. She knew Nathan didn't say words like that. He never let emotions show. But now, in front of her, he was opening his heart. Nathan's hand trembled. But he reached for her gently. "Please," he said softly, "let me take you home." Tina hesitated. "Home? Did he really mean home, sir?" "The mansion isn't my home." Nathan shook his head slowly. "It became one when you entered it." Her chest tightened with emotion. She didn't know what to say. She just nodded quietly. Nathan let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. He held out his hand, not forcing her, just offering. Tina slowly placed her hand in his, and for the second time in his adult life, Nathan felt peace through touch. He closed his eyes for a moment. "Thank you," he whispered. Back at the mansion, Clara was pacing the living room, furious and confused. "Why hasn't Nathan come downstairs? Why hasn't he called me?" she murmured. She didn't know Nathan had already seen the CCTV footage. She didn't know the truth had finally found her. When Nathan walked into the house holding Tina's hand, every staff member stopped breathing. Clara turned and froze. "Nathan, what is this?" Nathan let go of Tina gently and walked closer to Clara, not afraid, not distant, not shaking. He held the printed CCTV photos in his hand. "This," he said calmly, "is the truth." Clara snatched the papers from him. Her eyes widened as she saw her own face captured in every frame. Her entering Nathan's office, taking the money, walking into the staff quarters, and hiding the money in Tina's bag. She dropped the paper. Her hands trembled. "Nathan, I can explain." "There is nothing to explain," Nathan said coldly. "You lied. You set her up. You wanted to ruin her life." Clara's eyes filled with tears. She fell to her knees dramatically. "Nathan, I did it for us. She was coming between us. She was making you forget me." Nathan's voice was calm, but sharp as a blade. "No, She made me remember myself, something you never cared about. Clara reached for his hand. Please, Nathan, don't do this. Nathan stepped back slowly. Leave my house, he said firmly, and don't ever come back. Clara screamed, cried, begged. But the guards carried her things out. Nathan did not look back. Tina stood quietly by the stairs, watching the scene in shock. Clara was gone, forever. When the mansion became quiet, Nathan turned to Tina. His face softened. Tina, he said quietly, I don't want you to be my maid. Tina looked confused. But then why did you bring me here, sir? Nathan stepped closer. Because you calm my storms. Because your touch healed what doctors couldn't. Because you're the only person I feel safe with. And because I want you in my life. Not as staff, but as someone who stays beside me. Tina swallowed hard. Her eyes softened. Nathan. He took her hand again. Steady this time. Please stay, he whispered. Tina nodded, tears falling softly. I'll stay. The mansion staff smiled quietly. For the first time in 20 years. Nathan Briggs wasn't alone. A full year had passed since the day the truth came out. The day Nathan Briggs chose Tina over lies, over pride, and over the past that haunted him. The mansion that was once cold, silent, and filled with fear had changed completely. It now felt like home. Warm, bright, alive, and all because of one gentle woman. Nathan was no longer the trembling man who hid from storms. He was no longer the billionaire whose body rejected every touch. He had grown, slowly, patiently, with Tina by his side. He now took morning walks without panic, attended therapy without shutting down, let people stand close to him without melting into fear, and slept without nightmares. His therapists were amazed, his doctors were stunned, but Nathan always gave credit to one person. Tina saved me, he would say softly, and he meant it with his whole heart. They didn't rush anything, not love, not labels, not titles, but everyone in the mansion knew. Nathan didn't need anyone else. Tina didn't want anyone else. They found each other when life broke them. They healed each other when the world doubted them. They became home for each other, and as they sat together under the night sky, Nathan whispered, Tina, you are the only touch that ever saved me. She smiled gently, and you are the only man who ever saw my worth. Their journey wasn't perfect. It wasn't fairy tale smooth, but it was real. It was healing. It was love. And that was more than enough. Moral lesson. This story teaches us that sometimes, the people who heal us don't come with power, money, or titles. They come with gentle hearts, simple words, and quiet kindness. It shows that true peace is not found in wealth or status, but in the presence of someone who genuinely cares. It also reminds us that jealousy can destroy, lies can break trust, and greed can push people to harm others just to protect their pride. But at the end of the day, truth always wins, no matter how long it takes. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to our channel for more interesting tales.